What's up, guys, and welcome back to In the Shop TV. My name is Mike, and that is my 1955 Chevy truck project. If you guys have been following along, you noticed we started our 4-link in the last video, but we're going to take a break from that today because the FedEx guy just showed up with a big old box of headers. I know what you're thinking. Given the current state of this project, headers might be just a little bit premature. I know it looks like we have enough room, and I think that we do, but I'm not going to rush easy until I know that the type of headers that we want to use fit without any type of hang-ups. So let's get them unboxed. I'll show you what we got. Guys, before we open this box up and get into it, we are so close. Our channel, we're not monetized. We don't receive any money from these videos or anything, but we're so close to being monetized. We actually have the required amount of views, but we're a little bit short on subscribers. We have, I think, 830 as of the time of making this video. Guys, please, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, click that little bell so you get notified whenever we upload a new video related to this project or any other projects that we have going on here in the shop. I really appreciate it. We're working hard to make you videos, and I can use all the help I can get. A lot of the guys, when I was researching what headers to get, seem to recommend this one particular brand of headers because they're inexpensive and they seem to fit really well. So these are stainless headers from Speed Engineering, and they are for the C10, for the Chevy C10, I believe 65 to something or other. I may be wrong on that. I'll look it up online, and I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to check these out. But they're stainless headers, and everyone says they seem to fit really, really well in these trucks. So, you know, for the price, I don't think I can beat it. I've not heard of anyone having issues with them or anything, so it seemed like a really good buy. You know, what the hell, let's give it a try. So, legal disclaimer here. So they've included these gaskets. I opted for the zinc bolt with these. Actually look pretty decent. And the obligatory hot rod sticker. Who doesn't love hot rod stickers? Alright, so I got them out of the bag and set on our tailgate that we're turning into a bench here. But at first glance, they seem to be TIG welded really nice. No complaints there. The flange where it mounts to the head appears to be at least 5/16. I'll put a tape measure on that and figure it out, but I'm pretty sure it's 5/16. So that's a nice solid mounting flange. Stainless finish on them looks pretty good. And then they've got the O2 bung welded in place over here for your O2 sensor. But looks to only get you so far in life. The true test is we're going to make sure they're going to fit. This is the passenger side. I'm going to start with this side because our starter is right about here. So that's the only thing that kind of sticks out from the engine that might impede the way these fit. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this fender off on this side. It's only on by one bolt right now, so just have it kind of perched here just to check ride height and everything. And we'll start getting these installed. All right, so here we are in the engine bay. We went down to the auto parts store and I picked up a starter and threw it in. Sorry I didn't film it, it's 2 bolts, it's not too exciting. So when I was working on this engine, I stuffed some shop towels in the exhaust holes just to keep creepy crawlies and who knows what else out. So I could totally see myself leaving these things in here. Next I've got this dipstick tube installed, which is bolted into the head, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that out and let it flop. All right, so before we even get the gasket in place, I'm just gonna kind of hold it up in place here and make sure we clear everything. It looks like we do. Okay, so I've got just that one bolt holding it in place while I can film and work with another free hand. Guys, it's so nice not having fenders and inner fenders in the way when you do stuff like this. I'm used to having to crawl underneath the truck and stick these up from the bottom side. This is a lot easier. And next we'll replace the bolt that came with our fill tube for one of these header bolts. Let's try to get that started by finger. There we go. I'm gonna keep this off to the side like that so I have room for our spark plug boot. We'll continue on down the line. Guys, so this is usually the point in the sequence where you'd start torquing these down, and I want to go over the torque sequence with you, although I'm not going to actually torque these down because I'm going to end up replacing that gasket. The reason is I really like Remflex gaskets on headers because I've not had any of them leak yet. And if you guys have ever put headers on a car, I'm sure that you know that it's kind of the bane of hot rodders' existence. Headers are like notorious for leaking, but the Remflex ones, I've used them on several builds already, never once had a leak with them, so I know them, I like them, they work, I'm going to use them. I ordered them, they just didn't come in time for the making of this video. So I just put these gaskets on for the sake of making the video. Anyway, I'll go over the torque sequence with you so you get an idea of what it's supposed to be. It's real simple stuff, and from what I understand, it's pretty standard across most of the LS platform. But you're gonna start with your center bolt, And all these bolts are going to be 11 foot-pounds on the first pass. So you want to start with your center bolt, torque it to 11 pounds, then start working your way out. So you'd go from here, 11 pounds, to there, 11 pounds, there, 11 pounds, there, 11 pounds. Then you're going to repeat the same sequence again, starting again with your center bolt until you reach 18 foot-pounds, there, 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 and there. That's it. Over here on the other side, we're going to just go ahead and basically repeat the same exact process, minus the dipstick tube. All right, so that went on pretty easy. Let's check out some clearances. They're definitely gonna hang below the frame. I know, that's just kind of the nature of long tube headers. I could have went with mid-length or shorty, but I'm a sucker for a pair of long tubes. I can't help it. So yeah, they're gonna hang down below. Let's see how far below and what kind of clearances we have. About 3 inches, because there's a collector, and that's 3 inches. Our trans pan hangs down a little bit lower than that. I'm gonna get a tape measure on the end of this collector here and see just how far that is off the ground, because we are at ride height right now. All right, so I'm gonna take my measurement at the lowest point of the collector, which is kind of where it converges into that tube. And what do we got? 5.5 inches from the ground to the lowest point. Well, let's move it back a little bit. More like 5.25, I'd say. So yes, 5.25 does sound like it's pretty low, but you gotta remember in the world of lowered vehicles, that's actually not too bad at all. The trans pan is more what I'm worried about, so I think I'll eventually, before this gets rolling, we'll switch over to a shallow transmission pan. To give you a sense of what I'm talking about though with lowered vehicles, I mean, our cab corners are just at about 6 inches off the ground. Our 4-link brackets are about 5.5 inches off the ground. So I mean, really, it's kind of on par with everything else in this build. But in reality, I think that's gonna be just fine. I mean, all that really translates to us is that we're not gonna be able to do any Dukes of Hazzard jumps over any subdivision speed bumps. For just riding around town, I think it'll be just fine though. So fitment wise, they do fit really good. One thing I really like is that we're not really that close to the firewall, both in terms of the collector height and the distance from the tubes to the firewall, which if any of you guys ever driven cars, especially these old thin metal cars, with headers, you kind of have a built-in heater. So that's always a good thing. Not to say that I'm not going to get any heat coming through the firewall from the headers, because I will, but the further they are away from the firewall, the better for us. We've got good clearance with our motor mounts. Got good clearance back here behind the headers. A lot of clearance where the transmission is. Overall, I think we're going to be pretty good. One area of concern when I put these mounts in, I had to weld in another support right here for this mount, and we have our rack and pinion right here. So I did kick that out a little bit, and I notched away the bracket that was on the underside of this mount originally, so I have clearance for this. So that's going to come out right about here. So we're going to have to put, you know, our U-joint and kick it over to the side, and I think we'll be just fine. And we'll line up just perfectly with the hole in our firewall for our steering. Spark plugs seem pretty good, I think, with the exception of maybe this one right here. It doesn't look like on a camera, but if I bring the camera down here, you can see in that respect it's a bit close to the pipe. Too close? I don't think so. I think we're going to be just fine. So I think we got pretty good clearance with our spark plugs. Let's check the other side. All right, so this side's even better, of course, with the exception of our oil tube, but we just move that over to the side before we tighten it up, and we'll have plenty of clearance there. And we're looking pretty good on these two here. Good clearance there towards our transmission. Again, good distance away from the firewall, and plenty of room. Well, you can't see on the camera, but if I can get this positioned in here. That starter has plenty of room before it even comes close to the headers. Getting to those bolts and everything is going to be a job for a nice long extension on the ratchet. As far as clearance goes with starters and headers, I think that's pretty sufficient. We clear the mount real well on this side as well, and we definitely have plenty of clearance between the headers and the frame rails. So all you guys in the Facebook groups, you were 100% correct. They do fit really, really well on these trucks. Again, this is for a C10. I'm not sure exactly what year, but I'll put the link in the description if any of you guys are interested in picking them up for your build. I'm curious to hear from you guys too. Are any of you running Speed Engineer? Do you like them? Do you have any complaints, criticisms, concerns? Let me know. I'd love to hear it in the comments. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.